Hello, everyone. Thank you for your patience. My mouse was dead. And I'm like, how am I going to get on? This is the worst case scenario. I thought this thing was charging, but apparently it was not. So, hello, everyone. Welcome. I am doing something new. I am streaming into our members' Facebook group. So, I'm just going to check really quick to make sure that we are live. Just give me 1 second. I make sure what I'm doing is actually working because when we deal with technology, as Rosanna knows, I'm learning, I'm doing new things. It can be a little tricky sometimes. So I'm not seeing it on our, I know what I did wrong. Dang it. Okay, 1 second. I'm so sorry, y'all. I promise you, this is just one time learning curve. I say that now and then it's going to bite me in the butt later. Um, you know what? Does it really need to go on Facebook? Of course, the internet's. Did you guys have any issues with your Verizon on SOS? Let me know in the chat if you did, because that was not fun yesterday. Yesterday was not fun. I don't know about you, but that was very stressful. All right, let's see. Let me just get into our group. Thank you so much for your patience. Let me just go into our channel and then hit live video and then set up the live. Thank you all for your patience. Let's see. All right. Let me copy the stream key. It's so good to have you all here. Thank you. Let's see. All right. Stream key. You know what? It's not going to happen today, and that's all right. I don't want to keep you guys waiting anymore. So let me just figure out where I'm looking. All right, here we are. Hi, Tanisha. Hi, Gladys. Hi, Gerardo. Hi, Angela. Hi, Rosanna. Hi, all you beautiful people. Thank you so much for joining us today for our second webinar in the series. If you joined us last week or if you're watching this on the replay, you know we were talking about these conversations that were happening about the reset, if you will. And I think it's really important to kind of get motivated, get excited. Things are shifting, things are happening, but I'm really glad that you're here. Let me take a breath for a second. Maybe drink of water. Okay. So, like I said, I'm really glad that you're here. These conversations really matter. And the fact that you're spending time here with me means that you care about your work. It means that you care about your clients. You care about the future of this industry. For those who don't know me personally, I do see some new faces. It is so nice to meet you. My name is Michelle Reckney. I am the president of the American Academy of Micropigmentation. But before that title, I am an artist since 2016, let's say. I started in 2015 technically, but it was like the tail end. So I'm not going to count that full year. 2016, I am an educator. I am a business owner, a mom, and I've seen this industry go through several cycles now. And I want to say this to set the tone for everyone today. I'm not here to scare. I'm not here to hype. I'm just here to clearly and calmly express what we feel as though long-term success in this industry could look like. And this webinar is part of a series that we're doing because something is actually happening. I'm sure you've all heard it. I'm sure you all feel it. And a lot of people are talking about it, but we don't really have the language for it. It's like this low level anxiety. It's the sense that something shifted. And for some artists, it's quiet fear. And that fear, it's it's because what used to work doesn't work anymore. Last week we talked about the industry reset. Words really matter, okay? So I don't wanna just keep saying industry reset because it's important. It doesn't mean it's a collapse, it doesn't mean it's a failure, it doesn't mean that you missed your chance, it just means the industry is growing up. Every industry that matures is gonna go through a phase like this, and we saw it expand so quickly, and that brought excitement, and that brought accessibility. Everyone was taking classes, and then in 2020, it was like all the online classes that you could consume were there. And now it's time to correct. And we're going to take those next steps in that conversation because once the correction begins, there's a question that we have to ask ourselves that we all have to face, whether we do it consciously or not, is where do I stand in this new phase? And again, I like this to be interactive, and I am looking at our where I was supposed to be live streaming, as well as you all. So I can't see your comments, but I would love for you to comment in the chat. If you don't know how to do that, just go to the very bottom, hit chat, I believe. Let me see. What does it say at the bottom? Yes. Okay. Perfect. Oh, good. I'm glad, Rosanna. You turned your phone off. Yes, if you have the SOS problem and it's still showing SOS on your phone, just turn your phone off and turn it back on, and it should fix the problem. All right. So let me know in the chat if you're feeling what you're feeling in these days now that the conversation has been opened up. I would love to know. And also, what do you specialize in? Tell me what you specialize in. Are you a brow specialist, eyeliner, lips, paramedical? Um, Let me go ahead and pull up my presentation. Share. All right, can everyone see my screen? Also, my kids just got home. Hopefully, they'll understand the office is locked. They should not come in, but my 6-year-old discovered that he can take any object and just stick it into the little lock thing and unlock the door. Anyways, all right. So, can y'all see my slides? I don't know if you can see it or not. All right, let me add it to the stage on that side. Perfect. All right, let's see what these comments are saying. I promise. Oh, awesome. Yes, Gladys. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Rosanna. Thanks, Gladys. All right, let me just put this chat over here so I can see it while you guys are talking, since I'm looking in so many directions. So let's talk about this slide, the industry correction. And like I said on the podcast, like I said last week, this is the reframe that I want you to sit with today. I want you to know that the PMU industry is not dying. I'm really frustrated that that's being said because it's not dying. Industries don't just die, people don't just stop wanting services. It's a recalibration. Okay. What we're seeing right now is not chaos, it's clarification. For years, you could easily mask a weak foundation because things were booming. Things were just easier. It felt like almost anything would work. People would be knocking down your door. I know I had that experience. Booked calendars, visibility, momentum, all of these things felt so good, but that did not mean that you had the proper infrastructure for your PMU business to succeed long term. Some of us just threw it together at the last second. I don't know if you're like that, but it was kind of like almost like accidental. So correction, when we think of it in the terms of what I'm discussing today, it has a way of gently, and in some cases not so gently, revealing what is actually holding the business together versus what is just riding a wave. I've had so many conversations recently, and if you go into the DMs for the most part, I'm the one you're talking to, or maybe you didn't know that. Some of you, just ask questions about membership and stuff like that, which I direct you to the member concierge because she's your girl. She will take good care of you. But if you're talking to me about things you've seen, a post, maybe you've answered questions in my stories, you know that we've had conversations about what's happening. There's some incredibly talented artists that are confused and exhausted, and it's not because they're failing, it's just because things have changed. The rules have changed. So let me go to the next slide. Where is my slideshow? Let's see. I promise it won't be this messy next time. My mouse will be fully charged. I have so many windows open. Okay. Hmm. Where is it? I'm gonna have to reshare it. Sorry, y'all. There it is. Okay. All right. Here we go. Page 2. All right. Here we go. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to find my screen again. No, no, no. All right. So I think this is the part that people are struggling with the hardest, emotionally at least, because for a long time we were rewarded with ease. You had fast certifications, quick success stories, high visibility, little accountability. And I'm not judging that era, it served its purpose. It introduced PMU into the mainstream. How many people know about what microblading is now? Yes, some people don't, but like it brought PMU into the forefront. People are now excited about it again. Prior to that era, the last time I had heard about PMU was my aunt getting her lip liner done, and not liking it, frankly, because it was not that good. No offense to the veterans, but techniques have changed and evolved, right? It also brought in artists who would have never even considered this career, and it made a lot of big names and big companies, and it did a lot of great things for the industry, but ease and that simplicity is not sustainable forever because platforms change, consumers get smarter, regulation increases, expectations rise. Um, here's something that might surprise you, and I talked about this on the podcast, but it's true across almost all service-based businesses. The majority of businesses that fail don't fail because the person that's doing the service lacks a skill. They could be really great at hair or nails or makeup or permanent makeup or whatever it is. They fail because there's no structure. And in the grand scheme of things, in the big picture of our industry, we don't get taught how to run a business. We get taught how to do the skill, and then we get thrown out to the wolves for the most part. And I think things are starting to shift a little bit. Trainers are starting to realize they need to include some knowledge about the back end. And also, artists are getting much wiser and they're starting to invest in their business, not their side hustle or their side hobby or their glorified hobby. We're taking it seriously. We're taking it to the next level. And again, it's not a character flaw, it's an education gap. Um, when simplicity disappears, it can feel personal, like you did something wrong, but it's only because you've outgrown certain systems. So I want you to keep that in mind. Let's go to the next slide. All right. I think this is a really good one because this is where you're going to really understand, maybe even figure out where your position is in this whole thing. Because correction is going to create a natural separation. Okay. It's not because some people deserve success and other people don't. It's because different orientations produce different outcomes. Some people drift. They wait, they'll maybe go back to their day job and then wait till things are easy again. Some people grind. I know many of you that are in here that are watching this replay are those grinders, those people who are going to work harder, post more, buy courses, but also you might stay a little exhausted. Now, some people build, okay? You slow down, you start creating and reintroducing or creating foundations. And this phase in business is going to feel a little uncomfortable because it's going to remove that feeling that you're getting when things are easy. Because when things are easy, you get that constant validation. Oh my gosh, you're so great. You're the best. Da, 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 da. When things slow down, bookings aren't as consistent or super slow or very hard to get. The noise is down. You're left with just what's in front of you, which is clarity and honesty. You have to be honest with yourself about the business and how you're going to continue to grow it. So, right, let's talk about the real question of this phase. You can see it here on the slide. Who's prepared to build for longevity? Let me know in the chat if you're prepared to build. No worries, Carmen. Tanisha, yes, this is recorded. Actually, this part might be on YouTube because I was able to successfully post it on YouTube. It's live streaming right now. Not sure what it's going to look like, but um, it is recorded. And then I'm going to do a private section that just goes into our members library. So, um, thanks for commenting and hi. Murphy's Law. Yes. Murphy's Law. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So, I'm so glad you're ready, Rosanna. All right. So, this is a question that you have to ask yourself because it's not about who worked hardest before. It's not about who grew the fastest. It's not about who's most visible. It's about who's going to be willing to work differently now. We're not in a season anymore for quick fixes. This is a season for assessment. And that assessment is individual. And it's quiet, it's internal, it's planning. You have to recognize where you actually are, not just where you hoped to be. And I just realized I'm not even moving the slides on the other slideshow. Here's slide number 2. Here's slide number 3 and slide number 4. Okay. I want this to be conversational. I know a lot of you are shy. I know a lot of you don't want to show up on camera, and I get it. Maybe you're in your PJs. Do I need to get in my PJs to do these so that way you can feel more comfortable showing up? Because I want to see your faces. I want to see who I'm talking to. I feel like sometimes I'm just talking to an empty room, which, listen, I can talk, so it's fine. But I do like to put faces to names. So maybe you can add to your list of things to do in this season, in this quarter, is going to be to turn your camera on at some point. um, but I do appreciate the comments, so that's really great too. Excuse me. So let's talk about an action item that we can really set the tone for. And I'm going to give you action items each week to do because, like I said before, I want this to be a place where you come. Maybe you come every week. Maybe you come, as often as you're able to, or maybe you're watching the replays if you're a member and you get to watch the replays. I want you to come and in with the mindset of, okay, I want to do something that's going to move the needle. All right. So, your action item for this session is going to be something that I want you to ask yourself. And I want you to really think about it. And this might help give you some clarity. I really do think it will. Ask yourself this honest question: if social media disappeared tomorrow, what part of my business would still function? Okay, because a lot of us rely heavily on social media and don't understand that it could be gone like this. Big accounts have lost their social media profiles and lost them for weeks and maybe got them recovered. So, are you only relying on social media? Are you relying on other avenues? Think about that question. And I don't want you to panic. I don't need you to solve it today. It's really important to have that information. And once you write down what part of your businesses would function, I want you to think about the parts of your business that would not function, because I don't know why my computer just turned on, my other one. That's creepy. Okay. What was I even saying? It's important for you to see both sides of the picture. The part where you're going to understand what is lacking in my business and what can I solve? How can I fix this problem? How many of you get your client, actually better yet, here's a better question. Where do you currently get your clients from? Let me know in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and just let me know. I know prior to social media, I mean, I honestly don't get most of my clients from social media, to be honest with you. It's so rare that I get a client from social media. Let's see. Word of mouth, Google, Instagram, that's amazing. Google is a good way. That's where I get my clients, and word of mouth as well. Google, Instagram. Okay. Now, what would happen if Instagram was gone tomorrow? Hmm. Think about that. What part of your business would still function? Would you be able to still get the same amount of people coming in? And how can we prepare for that? Because as things shift in this industry, you're going to notice, or if you haven't already noticed, you probably will. Every everyone is on Instagram right now, and everyone is showcasing their work right now, and everyone sounds and feels and looks almost the same. There's only a couple of different things that will differentiate you from the rest. So, we have to make sure that we are tapping into all the different ways of making money through, like some of you are doing Google. I don't consider Google social media. It's really not. Word of mouth, something else that I call boots on the ground marketing. So important. People are forgetting about the basics. So, your task, for those of you who are watching for this very short and concise webinar, I used to do 1 hour long webinars. And honestly, at this point, we're a society that likes little bits of information. So I've condensed it down to about 25 minutes for the public portion. And then I record the private portion and I put that into our members library. But I want you to keep in mind that word of mouth is number one, still king, because think about how you purchase and how you make purchasing decisions. I want you to just let's do a hypothetical here. I am thinking, hmm, I want to get my hair done. And I don't know anybody who works with curly hair, for example. Am I going to go to some random stranger just because I see her online, or am I going to call a friend or maybe look on social media and see any of my friends who have really nice hair that's similar to mine and then ask them, "Hey, where'd you get your hair done?" And then they're gonna tell me, "Oh, I went to Mary's shop across the way. She's great. Actually, I have her card in my purse. She gave me, a discount card, actually. Let me send a picture to you so that you can tell her I sent you." Would I choose that, or would I choose some random person that I've never had an experience with online? Consumers are getting much smarter now. They're not trusting everything they're seeing online anymore, and that's good because there's a lot of lies out there. There's a lot of photoshopping. Funny enough, they ask the AAM, like, on a weekly basis if we want our stuff photoshopped. I'm like, "We don't actually we're not a service provider." I mean, I am, but this is not I don't post my work on the AAM's account. And so it's just funny because it's so photoshopped. People are going through those experiences, and that's why they're getting botched. People are stealing other artists' work. I'm seeing that a lot. So think about word of mouth marketing and then also boots on the ground. Tanisha said, "Boots on the ground. I've never done in the past 6 years of running my business." Amazing. You're gonna do it this year. That's amazing that you have been successful for 6 years thus far without having to do boots on the ground. Think about how much more business you're gonna drive in by getting out there and introducing yourself to your neighbors in business. Like, I was really close to the dentist that was next to me in my brick and mortar that I basically shut down right before my mom passed away. I made friends with the dentist. I made friends with the doctor's office on the corner. I made friends with the monogram lady. I made friends with the Edward, what is it called? The financial advisor, Edward something. And who else? Oh, my favorite, the hearing aid people next door. That is my ideal client. Ma'am, you don't want to have to put your brows on every day because our vision is not very good and we have different skin. I love me elderly, mature skin. I love it. They're not only are they fun to talk to and you learn so much, but they have and want to use their disposable income on things that actually make sense. So I was friends with them over there. Everybody knew me on the block. Everybody had my promotional materials there. I would recommend people to them when my clients would come in and say, "Hey, I saw that holistic doctor at the corner. Is he any good?" Actually, yes, I've seen him myself. I got my supplements from him. Go there, tell him I sent you. And the girls there were coming to get their permanent makeup from me too. And I was giving them a really good deal because I wanted them to be my billboards. So, getting yourself out there, talking about your business, not being shy. I even had my husband marketing for me, okay? He was fortunate enough to be able to be a stay-at-home dad for 1 year while I was just like hardcore focusing on the business. And he got to stay home with our youngest son, who at the time was about 3 or 4. So he would take him to the park on a daily basis. And one day he comes back and he tells me, "Oh, I met a lady. I tried to explain to her what you do, but it didn't really sound good." He said, "I told her that you like cut the skin and you like implant pigment," because he's trying to explain microblading to her. And I just looked at him and was like, "Honey, no more explaining, okay? Here are my flyers, my postcard looking flyers." And I said, "Don't explain anything. Just say she does permanent makeup and would be happy to do a free consultation. Here, she loves connecting with moms." And he actually got me clients that way. I had women come in and because of his networking and his marketing at the moms, I wasn't jealous. Talk to all the moms you want, honey. I'm secure, okay? but market. Okay, let's make it purposeful. So, if you don't have any flyers, they don't need to be much bigger than this. Like, this is an example. It's not a flyer, it's something for like a renewal, but it can be this size. I don't mean just a little business card. I mean something that's going to show your work on it that you can, and with a little QR code and a bit of information about you with your picture smiling, not the like sexy Instagram photo. Beautiful, love it. I'm not opposed to it. I have my own, but people want to connect with you and they really can't connect with a smile. So we do actually I'm currently in the process of revamping a marketing thingamajiggy, flyer, postcard, whatever you want to call it. So if you're a member of the AAM, it's going to be inside of the downloadables, just like the free template that we gave away to our channel members. If you're a member of the AAM, you will be getting access to that as well as many other downloadables to help you with your marketing, to help you with your aftercare, to help you with your consent forms, to help you with all the things. We actually already give you a consent form, but I'm revamping that one too, and it's pretty good already. So, I digressed into something else because I wanted to share the importance of boots on the ground marketing. But the question, again, going back to what the point of today is if Instagram were down today, what part of your business would still function? And yes, Tanisha, renew your membership. No pressure. No pressure to anybody because we're not here to get people to renew their memberships or to sell anything. It's really not about that. It's about giving information as much as we can to the public for free because we care about the industry. Now, we have to save some stuff for our members. Otherwise, what's the point of even signing up? And so we do have members only stuff as well. But yeah, so if you haven't checked out the blog, go check out the blog. I'm talking a little bit more about this. Kate, one of our collaborators and contributors who's in the PMU industry as well. She's talking about this research, and that's free. You can access that on micropigmentation.org. You can access that and take a read. Go read it, and you'll see the direction of how PMU is correcting itself based on all industries. And hopefully, you and I and everybody who's here and everybody who's watching can open up this conversation and continue to grow because we're going to have to grow and pivot with the industry together. Otherwise, you're going to get left behind. So remember, we do publish a weekly blog every Friday. Goes deeper into the topics that we discuss on the podcast. Also, check out the podcast if you haven't already, PMU Standard. We talk about, it's more long form. We talk about professionalism, ethics, sustainability, regulation, things like that. And we are also growing our YouTube channel. So 2026 is pivoting for us too. You know, last year was kind of a restructure. You know, I became president early that year, very, very early. And I wanted to really put my finger on the pulse of what was happening. And now that we've reached 1 year, I know exactly where we need to go. And it's really important that we share with everyone. So don't forget, inside the members portal, you have your library of resources, you have the educational content. It's for anyone, regardless of what stage you're at, trainer or beginner or intermediate. And keep in mind that our website's under construction. It's going to be so amazing. It's coming in the next few weeks. But we're restructuring everything because it's important. Again, the pivot, it's important to be intentional. And I think it's kind of ironic given today's topic, but we need to make sure that we're not only relying on social media, that we're focusing on different avenues to grow the AAM as an organization as well. So structure, of course, takes time, but it's the beginning of the year, so we're ready to go. So I think this is a good stopping point for us. We now have some awareness as to what's happening. The next portion that I'm going to record is going to be about the application. We're going to talk about readiness, positioning, and what this phase actually asks of you operationally. So we're going to move it from observation to actual responsibility. What does this mean for you? So I really thank you all for being here. Thanks for riding the wave of technology because it was not fun today with all of these issues. And I really was feeling very SOS when my mouse stopped working. Um, Thank you all for being here. I can't wait to hear what you've written down. And if you were here last week, we talked about some things that you were going to focus on, some goals. So if you weren't here last week, we need to start thinking in quarters and writing down any goals that you have, and they should be SMART goals. So SMART, that's an acronym. Google it so that way you can be kind of caught up as to what we talked about last week. And I'm going to go ahead and close the session now and start recording for our library. And I'm very excited to slow this down and make it practical for those of you who are members. If you have any questions about anything, don't forget we have the Gloss and Growth event that's happening in March. I hope to see you there. I can't tell you how important it is to have that community. If you're at that stage in your business where you feel like that's what you're lacking, it's going to be great. It's not all about lips. Actually, the lip portion is the online portion. The retreat is about connection, community, business, mindset, finances, motivation. It's like all the things that you're going to feel like you filled your cup and your cup is full. And now you can go pour it out on other people, for other people. I don't know how to say the saying, but you know what I mean. Thank you all for being here, and we'll see you again next week. And if there's something you specifically want me to discuss or want me to create, let me know in the DMs because I'm happy to try to make it happen. Thanks, everyone, and I'll see you next week. Bye. All right.
Recording in progress.
All right.